Hey, what's going on out there? IE Network land, and of course, you know what time it is when it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday night. You know it's time for the Benchwarmers Podcast, exclusively here on the IE Network on YouTube. Yes, of course, I am the man, of James Acevedo, along with my co-host Heaven Hollywood, who'll be joining us later on the show. Shout out to not only him, but to our producer, Wes Clark, for making this all possible with the technology that we have nowadays, for making this show go. So, salute to you. Thank you so much, Wes. And we'll get to Heaven down the next few minutes or so in this hour when he'll join me as I spew some things before he comes on. But before I do, of course, you could check this out right now, right here on the IE Network. If you don't know by now, it's youtube.com/IE Network TV. And you go check me out right now. And also check out the other shows that's on here, when you feel free or when they come on live. Like, for example, my producer, Wes Clark. He has his show Real Talk every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with him and Ralph and Kev. That's the Jedi Council, of course. That comes on 9 p.m. every Monday night, Real Talk. And you also have my co-host, Heaven Hollywood, doing the Heaven Hollywood Experience that usually comes on Saturday nights, as we've been doing lately. That comes on usually, later in the evening, maybe between 10:30 and 11:30. Depends how it feels like it. But definitely comes on Saturday nights. And of course, we have Block TV with our host Lex doing the duties there for that show, talking about the world of entertainment, what's going on, entertainment news, and so forth. So we got a plethora, that's a word, huh, of everything on here. We have a smorgasbord of stuff. We got sports, we got shows for sports, we got shows for movies, TV shows, we got shows of what's going on as far as the tea in Hollywood. So we got it all right here on the IE Network. So hey, I don't know what you're doing if you're not subscribed to this channel right now. So like, comment, and subscribe right down there. Just go down there somewhere. It's right there somewhere. Check and comment, and subscribe, and share it to everybody. Let everybody know about us. Yeah, because we're only gonna get bigger and better than this. You know what I mean? So, and also, if you want to make a little doshi into the channel, you can by the super chat down here. They got that super sticker or whatever the other thing is. You can do that, and if you want to send a personal donation, Cash App. My Cash App is Jimmy Ace Cash, and Heaven's is Heaven Hollywood. Of course, it has a dollar sign in front of it. You should know that by now. So it's me is $ Jimmy Ace Cash, CASH, and of course Heaven is of course Heaven Hollywood. I don't know. Wes has one. If you do, Wes, let me know. I like to look out for you too. Let me know if you have a Cash App, and I could put that out there if anything. But so let's get this show going, shall we? Well, even before I gotta catch myself here. Even before I do any of my spewing, I gotta give rest in peace and my condolences to Shock G. Jesus, like every week there's somebody in hip hop from the '90s passing away. First was DMX, then Black Rob, and now Shock G. Coincidence? I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway, rest in peace to Shock G. Anybody doesn't know, he was basically the foundation, the founder of Digital Underground, hip hop group from the West Coast that I freaking loved from back in the day. If it wasn't for Shock G, there wouldn't be no Tupac. He gave Tupac his big break. Tupac was a roadie for Digital Underground. For those who don't know by now, I mean, if you don't know that by now, I don't know what to tell you. But in case you lived under a rock the last 25 plus years, yeah, that's 30 years to be exact. Yeah, 31 years or so. Yeah, that's Shock G gave him his first big break. Shock G produced I Get Around, did the little piano, on that song. He also did So Many Tears on Me Against the World. To me, my favorite Tupac album. Everyone goes to All Eyes on Me, which, by the way, it is a dope album, but Me Against the World to me is his number uno in my heart. You know, I've been a big Tupac guy since going back to 1990. So I've known him for a very long time, even before he blew up with Death Row. So I know everything about Pac. And yeah, he only was 57 years old. Did a lot for the hip hop community. Um, yeah, it's just a shame that he passed away. But he gave us the world of music, and he gave us also the world of Tupac. Wasn't for him giving his first break. Not to say that Tupac wouldn't have found a way to make a break and get in, but it probably would have been later than sooner. It probably would have been maybe until 93 or 94 instead of 91, like for his first album, Tupacalypse Now, which was heavily produced by Shock G. That whole album was basically produced by him. So yeah, so like I said, rest in peace to Shock G, and my condolences and prayers to his family and friends. That was a real tough one for me personally. So a lot of memories, a lot of laughs, a lot of memories of Shock G and Digital Underground. So rest in peace. Now we get off a somber note and go to it's more like a continuum of a morning in a way, but not really. When it comes to my New York Yankees, now as of now, they're playing right now against the Orioles. It's a 23rd game of the season. As I looked on my trusty laptop, the score is 3-0, top of the fourth for the Yankees. Yes, the Yankees are actually winning. And wow, they got 9 hits. Wow, 9 hits in just 4 innings. That's amazing because it's like they're going 3-4 hits a clip every game. The Yankees, as of right now, they're 9-13, 4-7 at home, 5-6 away, and a run differential, of -10, which means they've given up 10 more runs than they've gotten 10 more runs, basically. They're in the negative department when it comes to that. So in other words, they haven't been scoring any runs. What a shock that is. Runs in scoring positions, like they freeze, and they don't know what it is to have situational hitting and manufacturing runs. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, okay, last week, since we last left you, boys and girls, last week, what was it? They were playing the Braves. They won that first game. That Tuesday night when I did the show, they won 3-1. Then the next game, because it was only a 2-game series in Yankee Stadium, they lost that game 4-1. So they split that 2-game series. I hate like 2-game series. Ever since '97, they've done that crap. When they're introduced interleague play, they did that a lot, especially in the late '90s. A lot of 2-game series, just stupid. To me, it should be 3 or 4. That's it. Anyway, then they go to Cleveland to face the Indians, and they actually didn't do too bad. They won 3 out of 4. They won 3 straight, actually. Then they lost the game on Sunday, which would have been nice to sweep. But even in those games they won 3 out of 4, it wasn't like, wow, it was really like, they've come back. They're the Yankees that actually are playing crisp fundamental baseball. They had to come back each and every game, with the exception of that Sunday game, which actually they were winning, and they lost that game. They're winning, I think, 3-0, and they lost 7-3. So they went the total reverse, like they did the first 3 games in Cleveland. And then we go, let's see, to yesterday's game, where they go to Baltimore, where usually they beat the Orioles, which I didn't find out they lost 3 straight games in Baltimore, but they're going back to last season, and they lost 4-2. And again, sloppy play. Aaron Judge going first to third with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. I don't know what was he thinking. There's always that rule. Unless you know for sure you're gonna get to third base, do not make that last. Don't make that last out. Don't make that last out, because it's just a terrible look to do that. Unless you know you're gonna make it, it's just a terrible thing to just, especially when you have the time run and going, you have to go ahead run at first and at the plate. So it's just bad, just totally not. And he admitted himself, Aaron Judge, he admitted that it was a bad play, and Aaron Boone, the manager, got thrown out of the game because he didn't get a chance to replay the game to see if DJ LeMahieu crossed home plate before Aaron Judge was taken down. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't know if Aaron Judge was out, to be honest with you, because he looked like he possibly could have been safe, but the camera angles didn't give a real inconclusive to make it look conclusive, actually, to make it look conclusive that it was the right call. So it probably wouldn't have been overturned anyway. But definitely DJ LeMahieu crossed home plate, so they would have lost 4-3 instead of 4-2. I mean, just giving you the stats, by the way. First and foremost, I know it's only 23 games into the season, but as of now, they're 9-13, 4.5 games, and in last place in the American League East. They're thankful that they're only 4.5. If they were in the division where a team was running away with it, they could easily be like 10 games out. So they're thankful for that. And listen to these statistics that I happen to write up here. The team this season, their team batting average is 203, which is last. This is all basically, by the way, this is all American League, the ranks. The team batting average is 203, which is last in the American League. Their runs so far this season, they've only scored 77 runs, which is 14th in the American League. They've only had 26 home runs, which is tied for third in the American League. Their on-base percentage is 302, which is 10th in the American League. And their slugging percentage is dead last at 348. And want to hear some more goodies here? Look at this. Gleyber Torres, he's only batting 208, 2 extra base hits, and 2 RBIs. Just terrible. I mean, Aaron Hicks, he's only batting 162. And to be fair, I just realized the other day he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. So there's actually a reason why he's not really 100%. But still, if he's going to be hitting just 162, he might as well just sit on the bench. But I guess the Yankees can't afford to just sit him on the bench, which, I don't understand why they just can't go to their farm system and get one of these guys to come up to play. They have an outfielder that's one of their big-time prospects. I think his last name is Flores or whatever. And I don't understand why he can't play. He could play until Hicks can be 100%. But I guess they want him to get the kinks out while he's facing major league pitching. I don't know. But anyway, he's doing 162 batting average, 260 on base percentage, and 309 slugging. That's just not good. Giancarlo Stanton, batting 192. He only has 5 home runs, and his strikeout rate is only 30%, which is shocking. It seems like more like 50%. And then you have DJ LeMahieu, who's the hitting machine. And it's just terrible. He's only batting 250, 1 home run, and his OPS is 671. I don't know if it's because of his if his big contract is getting to him and he feels like he's being pressured. I don't know, but it's just terrible how he's swinging for, he's striking out a lot more. He's not usually hit the ball over the field. It's just not like him at all. And 1 home run, his OPS is 671. Gary Sanchez, well, he's continuing what he's doing last year. He's only batting 182 when he does play, by the way. 2 home runs and his slugging percentage is 309. And Brett Gardner, he's only batting 194, 2 extra base hits and 4 runs. And by the way, this is not even counting, not even playing Clint Frazier, which he's supposed to be playing more time than Brett Gardner in left field. I don't know why not, but it is what it is. I have no idea. But you do the math, and it's basically PU for the Yankees. I mean, right now, okay, they got 10 hits. They're winning 4-0, going to the bottom of the 4th. But Kluber's pitching. Kluber's been inconsistent, and he's coming back from, he hasn't pitched, what 1 inning in the last couple of years. So, how long is he going to be in this game? We don't know. The bullpen's the only thing that's been consistently good. Other than that, they've been very, terrible, which is a nice way of putting it. But it's just terrible how they're just continuing to play just not really crisp, clean baseball. But I don't know what to tell you, but it's just bad all the way around. But hey, it is what it is when it comes to the Yankees, and they're not gonna. It seems like they're not gonna change anytime soon. They're just a home run team, an all or nothing team, and unless they see, first of all, they need to start getting extra bases. I'm not just talking about home runs. They gotta start, at least getting doubles. I'm not asking for triples, but there's nothing wrong with getting doubles. Hit and run. But see, you got a team that's not very athletic. They barely steal any bases. and they don't move the runner over. They don't know how to manufacture runs at certain situations, at certain points of the game when you need to have that happen. So it's just, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if you count last year, their record right now, they're way below 500. They're not. I mean, right now they're 9-13. You count right now, but if you count last year, they basically around maybe 5 or 6 games under 100. If you count last year's record on top of that, with their 33-27 record of the 60-game season. So just not a good look at all. And I don't know what to say. I mean, right now they're doing well. They actually have 10 hits, but only got 4 runs to show for it. I mean, not to be funny, I think this is their first time they have double-digit hits all year. I mean, they got 10 hits right now. You know, I think it's the first time all year they've had double digits in hits. So that's just pathetic. You know, they need to be a little more consistent. I mean, like I said, you're gonna go through your ups and downs during the season, but when you're this consistently bad, I mean, the whole team is just basically in a coma. You know, like I said, the bullpen's the only thing that's consistently good. But how long is that going to last? Especially when you got to go to them every 2 seconds. When you're starting pitching, only goes unless it's Cole. Cole is the only one that's been pitching deep into games. You know, the other night he went into 8 innings, which was great. You know, it's nice to see. That's refreshing to see nowadays. You know, unless it's Jacob Degrom. Jacob Degrom, who was on the Mets, he's the best pitcher in baseball the last 3 years. He's been outstanding. If anybody hasn't been following Jacob Degrom the best, he's Hall of Fame caliber right now. I mean, he had another start of 15 plus strikeouts. I mean, he's off the charts. It's like he's in legendary status right now. I think his ERA is like 0.34 or something like that for the season. It's ridiculous. They just don't score runs for him. It's just like with Cole, they barely, for the Yankees, they barely score any runs for him either. But Yankees don't go, at least they're consistent with the rest of the time pitching because the offense don't score any runs for any of these guys. I mean, right now they score 4 runs, but that's basically been their average this whole year. They're averaging 4 runs a game. 3 runs, 2 runs, 4 runs. I've only seen them one time get 7 runs in a game, and that was like gift wrap runs, but because of errors and wild pitches, other than that, it's not like they've been really hitting the cover of the ball. So, like I said, it's going to be it's going to take a while for them. I don't know if it is that they need the weather to get warmer for them or something, but I don't know. Marcus Timms, who's the hitting coach, I know the hitting coach shouldn't get as much blame or credit when they should get much blame when they do bad or credit when they do good when it comes to the hitting coach. It should be more on the manager, but it's just, are you taking care of these guys? Are they looking at video? Which I think they are, but it's just, again, just like I've been saying the last few weeks, it's lifeless, it's soulless, it's like they're not having fun. They're just going with the times. It's like they don't care. I don't know. It's just very bad. It's just not good at all. I don't know what to tell y'all, but it's just not bad. If you're not a Yankee fan, who cares? I know that, but but as for me, it's just not been good. Just not good at all. I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, I think they're gonna get out of it. They can't be this bad, this consistently bad throughout the year. Like I said, this is only their 23rd game they're playing as of right now tonight. But I can't remember them being this consistently bad in the first month of the season in a long time. Not like this. I've seen where they, have had bad runs. They had a 5-game losing streak or even 7-game losing streak. But one thing about this team, even under Aaron Boone, when they've done pretty well, they're a very streaky team. They're a team that can go win 10 games in a row, and they're a team that could lose 10 games in a row. They just that streaky. There's not that fine line of being just consistently, okay, you win 4 games in a row, lose 1, then win another 3, lose 1 or 2, then win 4 in a row, lose 1, then win another 2. They're not like that. It's either all or nothing. They'll win 7 in a row and then lose 8 in a row. It's like they can't afford to do that. And if they're going to go far anyway this year, meaning at least to the World Series, because, enough's enough. Like, they should have been in the World Series by now. They haven't been in the World Series, just appearing in the World Series since 2009, let alone win it. So that's, we're talking about 12 years now. That's a while now. That's like a century in Yankee universe. But especially during the last 25, 30 years, the way this franchise has been consistently been having winning seasons. So it's not like this is the late 80s, early 90s when they really were terrible. So they have no excuse. And a message to Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez and Gleyber Torres, those type of players. If you want to stay here on this team and you want to look to have your big contract, that big free agent contract, you better shape up now, because if you don't, you're going to be shown the door. I mean, I saw something actually on yesterday that Aaron Judge was actually just for, like during the offseason, there's things that get thrown out there that, trades that might be talked about. Well, Aaron Judge was thought about being traded to the Angels. I don't know for who, but it would have been nice. It would have been Mike Trout, but I don't know if that would have been the case. But I mean, they're both outfielders. That would make a lot of sense if that was going to be the case. But then they would have to take that big contract for Mike Trout. I think that's why the Yankees stood away from that. I'm not saying it was Mike Trout. That's not the word I heard from my sources, but that's the only thing that would make sense to make a trade for Aaron Judge. But Aaron Judge has been, let's be honest, ever since his rookie year, where he played every day and he hit 52 home runs that year, and he was outstanding. He wasn't just hitting home runs. He was walking a lot. He was getting extra base hits, which is more than just home runs. It's doubles, getting the big hits, RBI hits, stuff like that. Ever since then, he's been on the shelf. From 2018 to now, he's been either on the shelf or he's been not playing well. I mean, his defense has been underrated. He's very good on the outfield. But now this year, he's been a little timid in the outfield because now he doesn't go all out in the outfield diving for balls like he used to, because he's afraid of getting hurt because he's been fragile. He needs to play with bubble wrap, you know what I mean? So I could tell when he plays that he's not really go all out, getting that ball over the wall to steal a home run, or, diving head first to get that shoestring catch like he usually does. I mean, he has a gun for an arm. He could throw out anybody. He's had a lot of assists in his career, throwing out runners to second base or third base. It is just that he needs to stay on the field and be a consistent player as far as playing well. Now, Gary Sanchez, they keep saying, oh, he works so hard. He works so hard. But yet I look at, the eyeball test, and he strikes out a ton. He's the worst approach to a situational at bat I've ever seen of any player in the 40-plus years I've watched baseball. I mean, he's just terrible. He has no game plan. He just goes up there and just swings. It's just like he acts like he's at batting practice or it's a home run derby or something. I mean, let's be honest. There was once upon a time, I remember Gary Sanchez when he was talked about 10 years ago. And he was signed, when he was a late teenager, 17, 18 years old, whatever it was. And I heard, he's going to be one of their big-time prospects. So I knew about Gary Sanchez even from single-A baseball, going back at least 10 years ago. And I followed his progress, and he was doing real well in the minor leagues. And he came up in 2016 in September, that call-up. He did outstanding. He did like a Jesus Montero. Well, that's a name to throw back. He had a great month that September. He hit like 10 billion home runs that month. 2017, he was great. Then 2018 came around. He was terrible. 19, he had a great comeback year. And then last year, he made up for it, in the 60-game season where he was terrible again. And this year, he continued on being consistently terrible. And I don't want to hear about the 60 games, because there was a stoppage in the spring training because of COVID and all that stuff. How about the other teams that played? They had the same stoppage. It didn't stop some of these other players. You know what I mean? So I don't get that. Oh, the stoppage and it affected him. And that's a great segue to Gleyber Torres, because Gleyber Torres, he's been, ever since he came up in 2018 in May, and he was great until he got hurt. And one thing about Gleyber Torres, when he gets hurt, it takes him a while to get back to be consistently good again. And then once he's a real streaky player, just like the whole team is streaky. And he's another one that has his, head up his butt. He's terrible fielding. Lately, he's been fielding better. I give him that. But he's another one that it's like if he has a bad game, he takes it with him. So if he's bad at the plate, he takes it with him to the field when he fields. And you don't do that. You can't do that. It's like for us everyday people, if you have a bad day at work, you don't want to bring that bad day at work home with you. or the other way around, have a bad day at home and bring it to work with you. You don't want to intertwine any of that because it could affect, what goes on in your job or what goes on at home, vice versa. And I think that's what Gleyber Torres does. If he has a bad approach to the plate and he has a bad game at the plate, he takes that with him when he goes on the field, and that's why he's so lackadaisical. With Cano, he was always lackadaisical, but at least he hit the ball. He didn't run the first like he did last week. He had that issue not running out, even though the play was in front of the home plate. He was saying, "Oh, I thought it was a foul ball." Foul ball, no, you're taught to run out the box. Not to say I'm a Major League Baseball player, but when I played, baseball, whether it was Little League or I was in high school, whatever, even with softball, no matter what I hit, I ran hard. Always ran hard because you never know if the fielder's going to make a mistake. The fielder might get all antsy and throw the ball away. You don't know. That's why I always got put at the top of the lineup. Sometimes number one. I was always a leadoff guy. Not because I had blazing speed, because I hustled hard. I hustled down the first baseline. So it was taking notice, from people like, oh, you know what? He's not a speedster, but he does bust down the first baseline. That's what I always did. Even when I'm on the bases, I always did that. I didn't have blazing speed, but I was well aware of my surroundings on the bases. And these guys on the Yankees, they look like they're just clueless. Now, to be fair, we don't know what goes on in their personal lives because remember, they're human beings. So I don't know if they got things going on in their personal life. It's really none of our business, to be honest with you. But they bring something negative with them and bring it with them on the field, whether it's baseball related or where it's personal related. So I don't know. It's just that I've never seen a whole team just totally just do nothing. You see a couple of players having they're not having good at bats and stuff like that. But usually the rest of the team are doing their thing. But to have the whole team like that just puts pressure on the next guy. And Aaron Judge actually admitted that's probably why he tried to stretch from first to third on that play, because he was trying to, be aggressive. But you gotta be smart and aggressive, not be dumb and aggressive. Especially when you have the time run, at the bases and stuff. So it's just, I don't know what to tell you. It's like I'm a broken record when I'm talking about the Yankees, and of course you're a fan of the other team. Well, Cry Me a River. My team hasn't won in 10 billion years, but you see, when you're the Yankees and you're that high bar, you're one of those elite teams or elite franchises of the league. Just like how like the Pittsburgh Steelers are that elite franchise of football, or the Green Bay Packers, are football. Or teams like that will have a great history. Same thing NBA, you got the Lakers, the Celtics. You're that high bar, and especially when you expect to do well, and you expect to at least go to the World Series or be in a championship game, your championship series. There's no excuse. It's not like they have tons of injury. It's one thing they have tons of injury. Now, what's his face? Voigt. Luke Voigt is going to be coming back within a week. He hasn't played all year. He's been hurt since towards the end of spring training. He's a guy that's a spark plug, who gives life to the team. And that's what's missing on his team is there's no life. There's just nobody there. Like I said last week about Didi Gregorius. Didi Gregorius, even if he wasn't playing well, he was the one that loosened up the clubhouse along with Luke Voigt. Gio Urshela's that guy too. But Gio Urshela's only could do so much. Gio Urshela's actually not playing bad. Even though he's had little errors here and there, but at least he's had big hits. He's like the only one in the lineup that's had big hits. Gio Urshela has been doing that the last, 3 years since he's come up in 19. So, and another thing is Miguel Andujar. I've heard rumblings that he's coming up, but he's been playing a lot of first base on the alternate site, and they're looking to bring him up to alternate with Luke Voigt when he comes back from the injured reserve list. I still call it you know what? I call it disabled list. I hate when they changed that a few years ago. They changed it from disabled list to the injured list or whatever it's called now. It's so stupid. It's been always disabled list since I was a kid. I know they changed it a couple of years ago, but to me, it's the disabled list. Okay, he's under the DL, not the IL. Yeah, whatever. So So by the way, I just remembered the Yankees had actually a trade. They traded Tachman, who actually hasn't been doing well since 2 years ago. He's basically a guy, a position player. He's not like a starting everyday starting everyday player. But they traded him to the Giants for a reliever from the some reliever from the Giants, and a player to be named later. When I first heard this story, I was like, they traded him for a box of baseball cards because Tachman, and it's a shame because Tachman was pretty good towards the end of the 2019 season, and then he got hurt in that last month of that season, 2019 September, and he's never been the same ever since. Okay, so they moved. The trade was this: they upgraded their bullpen, acquiring left-hander Wandy. You ever heard a name like that? Wandy, Wandy. I never. Wandy Peralta, and a player to be named later from the San Francisco Giants in exchange for outfielder Mike Tachman, as I used to call him, Tachman, with using Ralph Kramden's voice, Tachman, like Norton. Yeah, Tachman. Yeah, Peralta, by the way, 29 years old. He's 2-1 so far this year with 2 saves. Not a really great ERA, 5.4 ERA in 10 appearances. I don't know how many innings he's pitched. That's how, because sometimes with these ERAs, it could be inflated because of, because it's not that many games. It's only been 22, 23 games. So the ERA, you don't have to really make a big, huge deal. Let's see. In 2020, Peralta was 1-1 with a 3.29 ERA in 25 relief outings, holding left-handed batters to a 171 opponent batting average with 12 strikeouts. He struck out at least one batter in 19 of his 25 games, averaging 8.23 strikeouts per 9 innings. So that's actually not bad. He's actually not too bad, but like I said, the real test is coming and playing in New York. That's where you really shine. So we'll see. And Tachman, like I was saying, he was used as a reserve outfielder and pitch runner this season. He only batted .214 with 1 double. It's like the whole lineup this year, batting 200 and under with 1 double, 1 walk in 11 games with the Yankees this year. In 5 major league seasons, Tachman with the Rockies 2017 through 2018 and with the Yankees from 2019 to the present, Tachman has hit .250, 341 on base percentage, and a slugging percentage of .411. I think that's about right. With 13 home runs and 69 RBIs in 193 games. So, like I said, and not an everyday player. Also, they recalled infielder outfielder Taylor Wade, who's always been up and down for the last few years. They bring on. He's another one that's not really an everyday player, but he's an infielder outfielder that can help the Yankees if they need to fill in a spot, give someone the day off. It's such a big strain to play baseball. I mean, it's not even summer yet. It's only 23 games. But yeah, that's the Yankees in a nutshell as of right now. And let's see what else is going on. Oh, the Mets and Red Sox. Oh yeah, I forgot the Mets and Red Sox are playing. This is the only time, really, one of the rare times I say let's go Mets. 1-1 going to the bottom of the 5th. It's in Flushing in Queens in Citi Field. Who's pitching in this game? Some guy named Richards. I never heard of him. And I don't know who's pitching for the Mets. By the way, speaking of the Mets, like I said, Jacob Degrom, he's been unbelievable. Jacob Degrom, he's been by far the best pitcher in baseball within the last at least 3 years. I've known Jacob DeGrom, since his first major league game, ironically enough, against the Yankees in 2013. And that's when he had the long, wild hair and stuff. But ever since really 2015, that's where he went to the next level, when he had that grinding playoff game against the Dodgers when he was on the ropes, but he was able to work out a win. He really earned that W against the Dodgers in that 2015 playoff season. And ever since then, especially since 2018, he's been by far, you want to say Cole is number 2. I can give you that. Cole has been definitely the second best pitcher in baseball, especially so far this year. Consistently, he's been more dominant than Cole. But you want to say Cole's 1A or number 2. I can agree to that, because Jacob Degrom, he's been outstanding. This is his 3rd straight outing where he had 15 plus strikeouts, and it's only now recently that he's getting this spotlight. And to me, that's because I'm from New York. I've known of him for the longest time. I've always loved Jacob Degrom. It's just been a shame that he's been on a team that doesn't score runs. Boy, do I know that feeling. So he's been He's not just been great or excellent. He's been outstanding. I mean, I got to look up, but Jacob Degrom has been unbelievable. Jacob Degrom. He's been just unbelievable. He's been just amazing. I mean, he's been doing things that hasn't been done since Dwight Gooden in 1985. And I think, like I said, his ERA is like 0.37 or 34 or whatever. He's been unbelievable. He's been unbelievable. Let me see. Let me get this right here, man. I got to talk about this when it comes to Jacob. I mean, he has just been outstanding. Hold on. Let me get this real quick. He's been just, I mean, he's basically just giving the Hall of Fame right now. Here we go. He has 3 unbelievable Jacob Degrom stats right now. By the way, you could say he's the MVP of the National League right now. I know it's early, but definitely Cy Young candidate, and definitely you can make an argument. I know it's very early, but MVP of the National League. That fans think so. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, 30 TO'd. Okay, and another thing Jacob Degrom's been also been doing, he's actually been hitting the ball too as a pitcher, which is something you rarely see nowadays. He's the first New York Mets pitcher to register a 5-game history since Mike Hampton in 2000. That's saying a lot. And by the way, Dwight Gooden was not a bad hitting pitcher himself. Also, Alida was like that too. Let's see. The Mets, let's see. What else we got here? I'm trying to find his other stats. This doesn't get, but like I said, he's had 3 straight 15-plus strikeout performances. And the last game, he went to the distance, complete game. He had a complete game shutout, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So he's just been just unbelievable, just amazing. And I've been knowing this for the last 3 years. That's nothing new when it comes to me. I know he's been like this for a very long time. But you got to, I mean, his ERA this season is ridiculous. It's like 3.7 or something like that. I'm trying to get his, let's see. Here we go. Okay. What you need when you're trying to find something? You can't find it. Anyway, baseball reference. There you go. Anybody doesn't know, if you go to baseball reference, I highly recommend baseballreference.com for like when it comes to getting stats and other stuff. Look at this. This year he's 2-1, Jacob Degrom, and he only has that 1 loss because the Mets don't score for him, with a 0.31 ERA. I'm gonna say that again. 0.31 ERA. He's first in strikeouts with 50. Obviously, first with ERA. His career so far is 72 and 52. It should be 92 and 52. His career ERA is 2.55. He has 1,409 strikeouts. He could be the next guy, possibly. I mean, because the last guy to get 3,000 strikeouts in his career was CC Sabathia just a few years ago. Jacob Degrom, if he keeps it up, he's on pace to be maybe the next and last guy to have 3,000 strikeouts in his career. He's a 2004 National League Rookie of the Year, of course. So it's 2014. I thought it was 2013. Excuse me. 2014 he came out. He's been unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's not even close. No one's even close. He has the 51st best ERA of all time in baseball history right now. After 187 starts, Degrom has a 2.55 ERA for his career, like I was saying. He's unbelievable. He's like a machine. You know, he's like a pitching machine. You know, he keeps this up. He's going to have a statue in Citi Field, which, by the way, the Mets are finally having that for Tom Seaver this year. It only took them, 10 billion years to have it done. It's just ridiculous. Only 3 pitchers have a better career ERA than Jacob Degrom. And that is, let's see. Okay, he has a strikeout ratio rate of 10.5 per 9 innings, which currently sits in 5th place in all-time category. Currently, a number favoring more recent pitchers, Chris Archer, who is 10th all time, which he's overrated, is a testament of how well he does. Like I said, he has 1,409 strikeouts a year. He needs a dozen more to climb into the top 50 in the history of sports. His whip is one of the greatest. He has the 6th lowest whip That's with hits, innings pitched, if you don't know, at 1.03. Jacob Degrom is only a few fraction points behind Chris Sale at 1.03. Among other challenges, one for Degrom might be becoming the third player in Major League history to finish below 1.00. He has already completed 4 out of 7 seasons with a WHIP beginning with 0. Not with 1, 0. He has the third best strikeout to walk ratio. His total is in third best ever. He averaged a walk for every 4, practically one walk for every 5 strikeouts. Chris Sale and Tommy Bond are the lone players ahead of him. Chris Sale has 5.3 strikeouts to walk ratio, and Tommy Bond, I don't know who Tommy Bond is. He's 5.03 strikeout walk to ratio. He's unbelievable. I mean, if he keeps it, imagine if he ends the season with an under 1 ERA. That'd be ridiculous. I mean, you might see that with a closer, but for a starter? I mean, with Dwight Gooden, I forgot his 85. I think he had, that was a Cy Young year. He was like 25-4 that year, and his ERA was like 1.2 something or 1.3. Let's see, Dwight Gooden. Let me see that. Dwight Gooden. That's an interesting. That was the last great Met pitcher that had a great, redonkulous pitching season. 85. Here we go. 1985. Compare this with Jacob Degrom, even though it's only, like I said, he's only pitched like 4 games. Let's see. Here we go. Come on, good old internet. Let's see right here. Let's see. Yeah, he was 25-4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Oh man, he was ridiculous. His WHIP was 0. This is Dwight Gooden back in 85. His WHIP was 0.965, which was second in National League that year, only to Cardinal John Tudor. Boy, that's throwing a name from the past. Using wins above replacement, that great old WAR acronym. Gooden topped all of baseball in 85 with a WAR of 13.2. Since 1900, only 2 players had higher figures. Dead ball pitcher Walter Johnson was 16 in 1913 and 14.6 in 1912, and Babe Ruth was 14.1 his WAR in 1923. I mean, that's ridiculous. If you use Smith's formula for WAR for pitchers, Gooden's figure is 12.2. Since the dawn of the 20th century, only Walter Johnson 14.6 in 1913 and 13.5 in 1912, and Cy Young, which the award is named after him, practically he has 512 wins career-wise, which no one will ever come close to because he basically pitched every other day. His WAR was 12.6 in 1901. Gooden was 11-1 in the second half of 85, and despite his young age, he grew stronger once the calendar flipped to September. That month, he only gave up 2 earned runs in 53 innings. That's an ERA of 0.34. Now, that's only a month. And Jacob Degrom has had, and like I said, it's only 3-4 games, but he's pitched a lot of innings, and his is 0.31. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. Gooden won 4 of his 6 starts, but would have gone 6-0 with any kind of run support. Well, what a shock. Some things never change. But it's just unbelievable. My point being is that Jacob Degrom is just on a pace of breaking pitching records we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, who knows? He might win the Triple Crown in pitching, which is win and loss record, strikeouts, and I think ERA, strikeouts, and win and loss record. So that's the Triple Crown. Triple Crown for offense is obviously batting average, home runs, and RBIs. Pitching is win and loss record. Wins, leading the league in wins, strikeouts, and ERA. And he's I think first in all that. Maybe not in wins, but he's definitely first in ERA, definitely first in strikeouts. It's unbelievable. So, I mean, that's going to be very interesting to watch Jacob Degrom. I mean, oh, by the way, continuing from a little bit more of my MLB news, the Dodgers and the Padres have had great games this season. This weekend it was in LA. The weekend before it was in San Diego. This time the Padres won that battle this past weekend, winning 3 out of 4, including that Sunday night game when they came back from the 8th inning down 7-1 and coming back to win 8-7. That's a terrible loss for the Dodgers. Their bullpen is very vulnerable, and that's been an Achilles heel really since the last couple of years. So everything else, it's totally opposite of the Yankees. Dodgers have a so-so bullpen, great everything else. Their starting pitching, their offense. But the Yankees, their bullpen's been great, but everything else is stinkeroo. So I wish it could be the other way around in a way, but not really, because when you have your bullpen not doing well, that could definitely hurt you down the road. But like I said, with the Yankees, they keep up throwing these guys out, they're going to be in trouble. And Aaron Boone, be on the lookout, because this is the last year of your contract. Keep this up, you ain't going to get signed back. I don't care how in good standing you are with the Steinbrenner family and Brian Cashman. So, like I said, we'll see what happens. Let's see what's going on right now with the scores. It is, what is this? Okay, it's 4-1. And the Yankees have 11 hits. Wow, Kluber so far, he's pitched 4 1/3 innings, giving up only 3 hits. Gee, am I awake? I must be dreaming. Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. Gee. Anyway, moving right along. The show list here. Where's the show? I know the next one is Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook. Speaking of records, Russell Westbrook. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying that. Russell Westbrook. He actually yesterday broke an NBA record for being the most triple doubles in a month, which was held by Wilt Chamberlain. That goes all the way back from 1968. Russell Westbrook had 12 triple doubles, and it's still what? April 27th. So he still got like 3 days left. And he could have a couple other triple doubles coming up. I think he has maybe 1 or 2 games left in this month. But even though that's an amazing feat, it wasn't really so much of that as much of his comments. For some reason, I don't know if he was feeling a certain way or was hearing whispers from people. People are saying, yeah, you're great, offensively. And he basically takes the ball by reckless abandonment, which is great. He has a lot of heart and chutzpah, as a Jewish community would say. But it's what he said afterwards during the post-game press conference it was interesting. It just came out of nowhere when he said, I honestly believe there's no player like myself. And if people want to take it for granted, sorry for them. This is his quotes, by the way. I'm pretty sure if everybody could do it, they would do it, talking about his triple doubles. I honestly make sure I impact the game in many ways every night. Defending, rebounding, passing, whatever. It is my team. Whatever my team needs me to win, that's what I do. I really don't, honestly, I don't care what people think about it. Well, I concur, because obviously you do care, because why would you bring it up? If you didn't care, why would you toot your horn and say, well, you should appreciate what I'm doing, because you might not see this again, You don't see this from any other player. And he has a good point as far as like being consistently, great. But, when the playoffs come, where is that consistency? It's kind of like with what's his name, with James Harden with the Nets. He's great during the regular season, but then the playoffs start and he shrinks like he shrinks like an ice cube under a heating lamp. So it's I don't know why he would let anybody get to him. He should just not say nothing and play ball. Just let his play do the talking. His play obviously does the talking. I just don't understand why if you say you don't care, then why comment and say, well, look, I guess people don't appreciate how I go out there every day and bust my rear end for the sport and for my team. And that's obvious. Anybody who has 2 sets of good eyes, I can see that. So obviously he's feeling a certain way because I guess people come down on him or whatever, or he feels he's not getting enough acolytes I guess. But hey, you know, what's important is, do you do it in the playoffs? Remember when you were down 3-1 against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals in 2016? Where were you there? You and KD, Kevin Durant. Where were you guys? Nowhere to be found, right? All right then. When it really counted, and you needed one more win to close out the series, being up 3-1 against the Warriors, you could have had it done. You could have been in the finals against LeBron James and the Cavaliers that year, and you spit the bit. And then the teams since you've been Oklahoma City, now you've been with the Wizards. You know, you've been on teams that are just not good enough. You can't do it all by yourself. In basketball, you do need like one or two really good players, maybe three, and the rest, you need players that could, be a well-oiled machine. They have to be, Hall of Fame type players, but players that are great off the bench, 6-man, stuff like that. But you can't do it all by yourself. Him on the Wizards, that team ain't gonna be going nowhere. Last time I remember checking last week when me and everyone talk about it, they were the 10th seed in the conference. By the way, shout out to my Knicks who went on a 9-game winning streak. They lost finally to Chris Paul and the Suns. And Chris Paul basically, took that game over, hitting 2 big shots towards the end of the game in the Garden at the Mecca. And see, I've always liked Chris Paul. I mean, he should have been on the Knicks 10 years ago, but we all know that story. Why did it happen? We have a segue to that of remembering when the Lakers had a shot of getting Chris Paul, but there was a segue. There was a reason. I mean, there was a reason why that didn't happen. And Jeannie Buss, who is basically the owner of the Lakers, she was saying that David Stern, who is the former Lake commissioner of the NBA, he was, at the time, a temporary owner of the New Orleans Pelicans, because remember, the New Orleans Pelicans had financial issues, so they had no real owner at the time. So David Stern was a temporary owner at the time, and he vetoed that trade because he didn't deem it as fair for the league. But I don't know. I think it's just payback for when the Lakers always got that big break, whether it was getting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whether it was getting Kobe Bryant, or getting I forgot the other guy they got during the when they won their last 2 championships, that the right hand man for Kobe. So yeah, I think it was just him getting back at the time. But she made a good point. Let me see over here in the article. Let's see here. Let me see in the chat room. Who's in the chat room right now? Let's see right here. Shout out to Joseph Tanner. Shout out to Miss Char. How you doing? Hello. And shout out to everybody else. Too many to name in here. I'll be here all day. So thank you for your comments, and thank you for watching the show. Yeah. And let's see. Hope you pressing the like button. Make sure you press the like button and share this with your friends and everything. Let's see over here. With that Jeannie Buss, when it comes to that. And it was on some show that she was on, Jeannie Buss, and it happened to be brought up, I guess, why was Chris Paul not traded? Because the trade was vetoed from David Stern. Let's see. Jeannie Buss explains why the trade was vetoed by David Stern, who at the time was not only the NBA commissioner, but at the time he was a temporary owner of the recovering New Orleans Pelicans, because they didn't have an owner at the time because the owner went bankrupt or something like that. She was on an episode with All in Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and she revealed that it was a bit more complex about that trade being vetoed. Stern did not veto the trade, according to Jeannie Buss. It was because it was bad for the league. Instead, he vetoed it because he was in charge of the New Orleans Pelicans at the time, and he felt he wasn't properly consulted before the trade took place. So in other words, because he wasn't contacted before this trade was presented, that's why David Stern felt a certain way and vetoed it. It wasn't vetoed because it was bad for the league. Well, either way, David Stern vetoed it, okay? Either way, it is what it is. So I don't know what to tell you. So it is what it is with that. So I don't know with that. But it's funny how, and also he said it also. David Stern vetoed it because he was in charge of the Pelicans and he felt he wasn't properly consulted. David, here's quotes from Gene Buss. David Stern didn't reject the trade as commissioner. He rejected the trade as governor of the New Orleans team. I don't know why I said governor, the owner, temporary owner of the New Orleans team, because he wasn't asked permission to okay the trade. It wasn't the NBA trying to keep the Lakers from Chris Paul. It was David Stern that had a responsibility to make sure that it was a trade that he would approve. So now he just calls off the trade and wants everybody to cool down because now you got a lot of teams thinking there was some funny business going on, but it wasn't. And that was a quote from JD Buss, the Lakers owner. So if Heaven, I would like to get Heaven's thoughts on this since he's a big time Laker fan. I wonder how he felt about that or he knew about that. But either way, I mean, even if I think he was just a commissioner, he might have vetoed it because some of these owners might have got to David Stern's office and say, hey, what's going on here? But because David Stern felt he wasn't consulted, that's why he felt a certain way and the trade was vetoed, not because it wasn't fair to the league. So I don't know. You could take that with a grain of salt. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. So that's when it comes to that story. Let's see here. I don't know if there's anything else. Let's go to the Yankee score real quick. Still 4-1, going to the bottom of 6. Red Sox are winning 2-1. Boo! Boo, Boston. Let's see. Nothing else that's important really going on. So so I guess I mean I got nothing else here to talk about as of right now. I mean, let's see, unless just in case I missed anything, it's always good to check just in case. Let's see, just in case I don't want to just in case there's something else that came up. Something I'm missing that I missed to talk about. Just in case I don't want to just leave the show and be like, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about this. So why did you bring that up, dummy? Let's see. News here. I got nothing when it comes to entertainment news because that's Heaven's line of work. Let's see. I don't see nothing here that I would think there'd be anything to talk about. Let's see. Oh, Mancy, what's up? How you doing? Man, see you in the chat room. Thanks for joining. What's up? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. By the way, I don't know how I forgot about this, but I did. The NFL draft, you would think that's what I would start with when it comes to my show. I'm just going to be honest with you. I really don't care. I don't care about the NFL draft. I mean, I understand why it's so popular because now they go all over the country where it used to be just in Radio City Music Hall in New York City, Rockefeller Center. I understand all that, but I think maybe one of the reasons why because my Giants don't have a real high pick. Maybe that's why, but I'm not going to be one of those talk show hosts, sports talk show hosts, and me acting like, oh yeah, the Jets should get this guy because have a number 2 pick, and the Jaguars should get this guy, and so on. So, you only first of all, most of these guys, unless you just live with these guys that are being drafted or whatever, how they're going to be good? College football is totally different than NFL. It's totally different animal, totally different game. It's totally different. Just because they're doing great in college doesn't mean they're going to do well in the NFL. I mean, what's his name? That dude that was so great with the Gators, as a quarterback a few years back. I forgot his name. I can't believe I forgot his name. But he was so great. Then he came to the NFL. He wasn't as great as an NFL quarterback. They could have switched his position, maybe something else, maybe as a tight end or something. But he wasn't great as a quarterback. So I know there's can't misses. There's just once in a while. Can't misses, blue chip pros. Like Lawrence Taylor was, and Joe Montana, stuff like that. Dan Marino, but it's very rare. It's just. And, it's all over the top when it comes to NFL draft. And, oh, yeah, we're over here. And, oh, yeah, this guy's going to be phenomenal. Like, how you know? Like, and you never really hear, oh, the San Francisco 49ers, that was a terrible pick. How can they pick this linebacker from the University of North Carolina? They could have picked, this tight end from, from Miami. I don't know. It's so like, I mean, I watched the draft just for the heck of it for 2 seconds, but it's like, as NBA draft, same thing too. It's like, unless they really can't miss prospects, who knows? Like, you don't know. And who knows, they're going to slip on a banana peel tomorrow, and then their career's over. You know what I mean? So it's just overhyped with the NFL draft. I really don't care. I mean, you want to bring up and talk about it, that's fine. Because I ain't going to act like, oh, yeah, I know this guy. I know this guy coming out of college and he's eligible for the NFL draft. It's just, you don't know that. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's all I have to say right now. I'm going to get off. I put in an hour's worth of work. I guess, Heaven can't join us this evening. And Wes is very busy. He multitasks all the time, not only doing this show, but doing other projects he's doing. He's the hardest working man in show business. He's like the new James Brown. Hey! So, so shout out to Wes Clark and shout out to Heaven, wherever you are. You would have been here by now. So I'm out of here. There's nothing else for me to talk about. I've done an hour. I can only do so much on my own. So I'm out of here. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in, everybody in the chat room. Thank you so much for participating and chatting and shouting out to me. Don't forget, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, another exciting edition of the Benchwarmers Podcast with yours truly as the host and Heaven Hollywood as my co-host, director, of course, by the director. You can always catch this anytime you want. If you miss this live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once I get off here on the live, you can go to anytime once it's uploaded to check out what you missed. Not only this show, but the other shows we have on the IA Network. We have, of course, Real Talk, which comes on live every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with my with the host of that show, my producer, the host of the Real Talk, the director, Wes Clark, and the Jedi Council, Ralph and Kev. You also have Heaven Hollywood Experience, which comes on every Saturday night, usually around 10:30, 11:30 p.m., give or take. With Heaven Hollywood, my co-host. He's a host of the Heaven Hollywood Experience. If you want the tea and everything else about Hollywood and behind the scenes, he's the guy to go listen to. He is excellent. And I'm not just saying it because he's my friend and co-host. He's really good at what he does. He has his connections, and he is the real deal. So we'll check him out on there. And also with Block TV, we got that going on. That's every once a week during the middle of the week. That's usually on Wednesdays. Usually Thursdays it gets uploaded. That's pre-recorded. That's hosted by Lex. Shout out to her for her outstanding job telling you also what's been going on in the news of Hollywood and the tea. So if you like to sip that tea when it comes to the gossip of Hollywood, she's another one to check out also. It's usually a video that goes like about 5-6 minutes, 7 minutes or so, but it's definitely worth watching. So that's all I got to say. Like I said, my Cash App is Jimmy Ace Cash. That's Jimmy Ace Cash. The super chat on here is down on here in the bottom. If you want to donate to the channel for the IA Network, the super chat and the super sticker. And Heaven Hollywood's Cash App is $ Heaven Hollywood. And yeah, and Wes, you still haven't told me if you have a Cash App, but if you do, let me know so I can push that out there. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for participating, and thank you all for looking out. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm just checking in the checking in the chat room just in case somebody had a question or something. Everyone just giving out shout outs and giving their love support. So thank you all so much. I'm gonna get off this air here while I can because I got nothing else to talk about. So thank you all. Thank you for your love and support because without you all, we are not a zip zero. So thank you all. And for Heaven Hollywood and for Wes Clark, as I head into the IE Network horizon, I say this to all y'all. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Treat each other with respect. and dignity. And I also say this to y'all, ladies and tomatoes, peace.